Morning, guys. Thanks, Christian, for being on camera. Anybody else brave enough to be like Christian? Or I should say awake enough to be like Christian. So we're going to get started. I've got the live stream going, and I thought I was picking an exciting Minecraft video, but that sounds a little too slow for me. Let's see what we've got here. Classic soundtrack. That works for me. Alrighty, so just to be clear, for this class we are doing Minecraft Mobsters, right? We're not doing Midnight at the Krusty Krab or whatever it is. We're doing Minecraft. I have the live stream going, and we're going to go ahead and begin right away. We're jumping right into it. So just like before, I'm going to be asking you guys for your suggestions and how we do this and what should we do next. So let's start with what we have. If I hit play, we have a creeper with you can kind of call it a health bar. It's sort of a reverse health bar, if you think about it. It's a bar, well, it does go down when you die, but here it goes. If I click, he starts to explode. And if I right click, I can cancel the explosion. Okay, once again, I click, he's about to get bigger, explode, and I can cancel the explosion. One of you suggested last time that we should make it so that his skin like flashes, which I think it does in the game in addition to a sound effect. We can do that today if you want. Let's do the explosion. Say I want to explode somebody. Explodes. Well, I'm not going to cancel this time. And bajam! Explodes in a fiery ball of fire. And then we're getting some errors here. We can debug those. They're not really critical errors. It has to do with our widget. Caleb, you said that, didn't you? Okay, so alright, so we can this widget's owner. Oh, okay, I know what's happening. If you explode, then it has no idea who the owner is, which is the BP Creeper, doopity-doo. If you ever get weird errors like that, you can get rid of them by simply putting in a node called isValid. Put in an isValid node, and it basically prevents the rest of the code from happening unless this thing really exists, right? Because remember, this variable called this widget's owner, it's actually our creeper. And our creeper literally gets destroyed on the explosion event. So the minute it gets exploded, the widget has no idea where to get its health information from, so it throws an error. So you prevent that by putting an isValid node there. All right. So we've got a couple options. We've got the option of making it flash, also the sound effect. Could somebody find me the creeper, like, explosion-y sound effect? Not the explosion, but the right before the explosion. It sounds like a right? It almost sounds like that, I want to say. It's like a shh. If someone can find me that, drop me the link. We'll get the sounds working. We also want to harm other people. We want, like, enemies, so to speak, or, like, even, like, a villager and that kind of thing, that when the explosion happens, other things get hurt, other blocks get blown up, that kind of thing. So we could go back to focusing on the blocks and destroy a certain amount of blocks within a radius of our creeper. So that's kind of the question to pose to you guys this morning. So what to do? I'm going to put it in the polls, and we'll do a poll on it. Actually, let me just ask you guys verbally, like Christian, Caleb, what do you guys think? What should we do? Should we do the visual effects in the creeper and sound effects, or should we go back to blocks? Or should we do villagers? It's the third option. You can unmute your mic too.
Personally, I think we should go blocks because we should get the game built technically, and then we can go back to the characters and get those working, because the creeper kind of needs to do block damage.
I agree with him.
Okay. All right. I think that actually makes a lot of sense. We don't want to go too far down the character development, and then we have no world, no environment for the character to react to. So in that case, let's go take a look at the blocks, and we may have time to revisit the creeper even. So we're going to open up the block. Here we go. Last time I really messed up because I made everything an instant static mesh, thinking I was going to improve things, and instead I lost my block. So while instant static mesh is going to be more performant in the long run, and we can always come back to it, for now, I am in fact going to go back to the old method of using regular old, costly, expensive, in terms of performance, static meshes. So let me just fix my code where, yes, I'm setting... Actually, we don't need to do the setting of the static mesh. Remember what we did here? We made this little bit of code based on something called an enum, which is just a list, and it's block type, where we can say, hey, for the grass, I want you to look like grass. The stone, I want you to look like stone, that kind of thing. And we can just do this sort of thing. I'm just going to copy and paste the static mesh over and over again. Because it needs to know, okay, I'm setting the material, but of what? What am I setting the material of? The static mesh, which is this cube of here. I'll rename it cube. And it got renamed in the code, you'll see. Okay. Getting rid of our instant static mesh, cleaning up the code. And this is going to give us our blocks back. You're going to be able to see them. It also should fix that procedural algorithm generation thing. You'll see it show up. Alright, hit and play, and yeah, see those blocks showed up again? So it fixed our procedural whatever. Okay, so that's a good example of some blocks. We'll also put some like prop blocks over here into the world that we'll hand place. We can do that now. Let's get rid of one of these, like a couple of these walls. And so what we'll do, so remember the blocks, they're like 100 units wide exactly. So I'm going to set my grid snapping to 100 units. Because what that's going to do is going to make it really easy to drag these blocks next to each other. Because just like how in Minecraft everything snaps to a grid, these are going to snap perfectly. When I make a copy, bam, that copy is exactly next to the one next to it. Because it's snapping every 100 units. And I'm holding Alt drag. And that's a level designer's secret in how to really quickly make a bunch of copies of something. Also, here's another secret. I hold Control, and I click on a bunch of stuff, and then I Alt drag that whole group of stuff, and bam, now I just drag that, and then that. Right? So we're just going to make kind of like a Minecraft testing facility, which is what you do in games. You always have these test levels. In fact, some games leave the test level in the game itself, and players can access it if they know, like, you know, how to get there, like with a console command or something. So, okay, I'm doing that, and let's move this over here just a little bit. Let's give it like a layer of stone. You know what I really should do is select all these blocks. Wow, it doesn't look like it, but that is 48 blocks right there. So that's why you really got to think of performance. That's why I wanted to use those instant static meshes. It doesn't look like it's one level, tiny level of ground, but that's 40 of them. So I'm going to do Control G. Okay, now that I've done Control G, I can actually Alt drag. And what's nice about that is if I click away and I click back on it, it stays as the group. Control G is a group. Now what I'm going to do here is, remember we have that enum variable. It's accessible in the details panel on the right. Right now it says block type grass. But I can click on that, I can change it to dirt. And you're going to see it change right before our eyes. Right? Let's do it again. Control or Alt drag. And we can do one layer of dirt there. Let's do one more Alt drag. And this last layer maybe be, oh, I didn't do Alt drag. This last layer I'm thinking will be stone. And that's what happens to be the stone texture material we're using right now, right? So we've kind of got these blocks here that we hopefully can make move around. I'm going to move it just one more unit lower because I don't think our creeper can jump. There we go. Okay. All right, so we've got these blocks here. Let's see if we can actually get on them or we're going to fall. Okay, here we are. And that happens, but hey, nothing actually blows up. Why is that? Well, we haven't coded that ability. We haven't told the creeper that his explosion event should actually affect the blocks around him. but we're going to do that now. So there's a couple ways we could do this. We could make the block get damaged and block die. Block, is mined or whatever event living on the block itself. Or we could take that code and put it on the entity or the person, in this case the creeper, that's doing the mining. There's no real valid or invalid place to put it. Probably if I thought through it, I could think of probably the best place. But what do you guys think? What would be the best place, do you think, to put that code? Do you put that code on the creeper or do you put it on the block? This is one of the questions that we have to ask ourselves, like, where do we put our code? For me, I think I would put it on the block. Because probably there's going to be other things that can destroy blocks. Like the player, like a regular player or something. So it's nice to have that code inherent in what it means to be a block, right? Otherwise, I'm just going to have to, every time I have some entity, some new entity, a ghast I'm making, whatever it is, an enderman, that needs to be able to hurt a block, basically, and kill that block, make it go away. I gotta go to the creeper code, copy that code, put it over here, modify it. Or maybe it's best if we have some kind of accessible triggers and functions and things that blocks can do that live on block. It's inherent in what it means to be a block. So let's code on the block. We'll decide. So let's do edit block. And let's make an event called hurt block. Okay. And this is also, I know it's weird, we're being like hurt block, like we're anthropomorphizing, Minecraft blocks. But it is kind of like that way whenever you're mining a block, right? It's taking damage, so to speak. It takes enough damage and it just, it destroys. So let's do this as hurt block. And we're going to make this really similar to like other code that we would do for like hurting the player and player damage. We're going to give the block a health. Health should be an integer, which remember an integer is whole numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? That kind of thing. No fractions. And we're going to name that health. We'll name it block health. Okay? And so you can think about like, okay, cobblestone might have like 5 health. Sand might have like 3 health. Leaves might have like 2 health. Like there's different strengths of the block. So let's give everything like a default health of 5. And we could be like, okay, what does that mean, 5 health? That means like with no tools, in that case we should probably make a higher number, but with no tools, what does it take for a player to mine that block? That kind of thing. And then they have tools, we just use the tool, as we ask, hey, do they have a wooden pickaxe? Oh, they have a stone pickaxe? No, they have a diamond pickaxe. Based on those are multipliers about how much health to damage. So, yeah, let's actually say the default block health is 10. Okay. So what we're going to do is hurt block. If the block is being hurt, we're going to set its health now to itself, just block health right here, minus however much you want to damage it by. Right? Take what the existing health happens to be, set the health now to the existing health minus some number. And we can pass in that number through the event, which we do like this. That creates what we call an input node, or an input. We're going to put this damage, we'll name it damage amount. And the amount to damage or block by be this, and this will go into block health. Okay. And then we can make some code that checks if the block should disappear or be dead, basically. So let's do it like this. We're going to ask if block health is equal to, although I like to do less than or equal to. It's a little bit more safer, includes more numbers. But we know for sure if the block is less than or equal to 0, that block's got to go. Block's dead. It's as good as dead. If it's 0, if it's -1, if it's negative infinity, it's definitely not, shouldn't be alive. So then we do something like destroy actor. Destroy actor self, right? Maybe you do an effect here. You want to spawn that little block icon that floats in the ground, right? That's sort of slowly spinning. We could do that. Let's do that real quick. I'm gonna do that. I like that idea. We're gonna make that mini block that spawns, that's just like hovering there. That's like the thing you collect. We're gonna make one of those right now, and we'll make it really simply. So, yeah, what we do is this. We'll name it. It'll be an actor. It'll be BP block. I don't know what to call it. Probably icon pickup. We'll open it up. It's obviously going to have a cube, static mesh cube. In fact, I'll just go over here and copy exactly this. Copy, paste. So you could do that. We're even going to copy the code itself. So let's go to construction script. Remember, we have this block type. Let's just copy that. We just got to remember, if we start adding new block types, we have to do this for both these blueprints now. Okay. All right, so we're going to copy that. Remember, this code just says, hey, take the cube and set it to whatever this num value is, right? Now, if I hit compile, to throw an error. Oh my gosh, why is that? No, the reason is it doesn't know what block type is, because block type is a variable we made on this thing. We didn't make that variable here. So I can either make the variable on the left here, or right-click, create block type. Create block type. And now I've created block type, and we've got this mini block that should change this stuff. Now what we're going to do is we need to make it spin, and we need to make it small. So let's change the size over here, scale from 1 to 0.2. 0.25, yeah. And now we need to make it spin, and there's actually a component called a rotating movement component on the left here we can add. And it's going to cause it to slowly spin in one direction. When it says rotation rate on the right here, for a rotating movement component, this is what you're going to use. You can use rotating movement components for things like wheels, for this kind of stuff, icons, that kind of thing. So, rotating movement, let's see, X, Y, Z. I'm just going to use my rotation tools real quick to see what direction this thing is. Okay, so it looks like Z is the direction that we want it to go in. So for rotating movement, for Z, I'm going to put like rotation rate. We'll do that, but we'll do it like 50. It might be too fast, I don't know. Maybe, yeah, we'll leave it as that, see how it works. Also, last thing is this thing always comes with gravity, doesn't it? It's always kind of like it plops down, so we need to enable the gravity on it. Enable gravity, but it's physics enabled. Simulate physics, okay. Start awake. I think that should work. All right, so now we get this little icon pickup thing. And we're not going to code it where you can pick it up yet. A creeper can't pick it up anyway. But now we know that when the block explodes, there'll be a little thing left behind of that block's type. In fact, that's what we also got to do is right here, block type. We need to check mark what's called expose on spawn. You'll see why that's important in a second. Expose on spawn. Oh, also make it public. Expose on spawn. Expose on spawn. That word, spawn, spawning, right? When you want to introduce something new into the world, you use a node called spawn actor from class. And that looks like this. Spawn actor from class. And then you choose the blueprint you want. And because if you set a variable to expose on spawn, when you decide to spawn that type of actor, so in this case, the block icon pickup, block type, in this case, will show up as a node on there that we can set. So we can set it to be stone or sand or whatever. Well, we can, since we're spawning this from this block, we can just say, hey, whatever the block type that was just destroyed, be it grass or lava or whatever it is, can you make that, I guess lava wouldn't count, but right? Can you make the little icon that you're spawning be the same type? So we'll just pass that in. Block type, get. Just like that. Okay. Now the last thing we have to do for the spawn is we have to tell it where to spawn. So spawn transform is this thing. So what we'll do is we'll right click, we'll break this. We don't care about the size, leave the size alone, don't care about the rotation, but where it's located is important. Well, we want it to spawn where the block that we just destroyed is, so we'll just do get location, world location. Or maybe get actor location would be better. Basically the same actually, but of self, of this blueprint, the regular old block, we want the new little mini guy to spawn right here where we're at. So that's what we're doing. And then we destroy this one. Okay. So that is kind of our hurt block code, and that only happens if the block health is less than or equal to 0, yada, yada, yada. So there's one slight difference when it comes to mining a block and TNTing a block, which is how a creeper does it. When a creeper TNTs a block, Minecraft has this really nice effect where it's like a delay. It like waits to do it, right? So maybe we're gonna want to introduce that a little bit. Instead of making a whole new block of code for that, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put a delay node on here that says, hey, you gotta wait for how long the code that happens after this is going to take place. That's what a delay node does. Now, I still want to use this custom event for regular old herding blocks and mining them. So what we're going to do is, and we also want, by the way, the time that it is told to destroy itself to be staggered, right? So what we're going to do is let's actually pass this in as a parameter, just like we did damage amount, and we'll make a parameter out of hurt block, and we'll call we'll call it destroy delay. So this is the amount of time that it's going to wait to destroy the block. Now, this is going to be 0 by default for most cases, unless you're using some sort of TNT effect, like Minecraft, and then it's going to be staggered out. All right, so let's go back into this. Hurt block, yes. Block icon pickup, okay. Going to our creeper, now we just want to be able to sense what's around our creeper, that kind of thing. So begin blow up sequence, we have all this blow up code. Just looking over our old code, permission to explode, yes, okay, gotcha, okay, I see what's going on, all right. So, and then we destroy ourselves and that kind of thing. So we really want our block stuff to kind of happen there. So there's a couple ways we can do this. We can do what's called a sphere overlap, which is not a bad way to do it. We can add a sphere to our guy that we could always ask, hey, what blocks are within the range of this? And we can do some sort of damage that way. Let's start by adding the sphere. So we're going to add component, we type in sphere collision. We'll make this thing kind of like as big a sphere as we want. Should we go bigger? Smaller? What do you guys think? Maybe that's okay. Do it like that. All right. So what we can do is we can actually ask that sphere, hey, what's inside of here? So we do what's called get overlapping actors. And we can filter for what actors are in there. We're only looking for BP block, right? Only looking for the block blueprint. And we can iterate or go over all of those overlapping actors, and we call a for each loop. And we can now cause them to be damaged or be destroyed. So let's do this. Destroy. No, not destroy. Remember we have a hurt block event. Damage block, I think. What do we call it? Damage. Hurt block. Yeah, it doesn't come up. Why is that? Do I get it compile? Block. Hurt block. Hurt. Maybe I have to cast to it. In that case, we will. Cast to block. That'll make hurt block come up. Hurt block. Now we can decide, hey, how long are you going to make it wait to be destroyed? How much damage you're going to do? I gave all the blocks here like a generic 10 damage as their generic block health. Obviously, you want that to change. You know, Obsidian needs to be like 1,000 plus some, stipulation. Hey, you have to have diamond to mine this, that kind of thing, or to hurt this, or whatever. But right now, we'll just leave it as is, if that's okay. We can get really specific. By the way, how we'll set all the different block healths will be in a continuation of the exact same code, right? So this code won't just purely be visual. It will be inherently setting, hey, if you're grass, your health is this. Oh, you're stone? Well, then your health is this. And that's how we'll be doing that later, probably. So, let's see, hurt block. We have on our creeper, the damage amount, so we can do 10 damage on any block, which means it's going to kill all those blocks that are within the sphere, because that's the only one we're doing this iteration over. And then we have this destroy delay. Now again, we have this great effect where it's kind of like, it's almost like popcorn in Minecraft, where it's like, you know, disappear, disappear, disappear. There's like a stagger effect. So the best we can do with that is let's just do a random number. Random float in range. So let's do a random number between 0.2 and 1.2. All right. So it's still pretty fast, but you'll see one goes away, the next one goes away, the next one goes away, that kind of thing. All right. So let's see on our code, it's finished. Permission to explode is true. Our creeper is going to explode. The sound effect's going to happen. And yeah, where to put this exactly? I want to put it before the delay. So what we'll do, before we destroy our creep, well, yeah, we actually want these to kind of happen at the same time. We want the delay and then, yeah, so let's do this. We'll add what's called a sequence node, which is really simple, just gives us more of these sideways triangles to drag things off of. And I'm just going to put that there. I'm going to move this up so it's a little bit straighter. And I'm going to put destroy actor down here. The reason I do it in this order is, and I don't know if this really affects it, but it seems safer, and I think I've had problems in the past with it. If you're going to destroy the actor and then run more code on that same actor, it gets a little bit tricky. It might not get to finish the code. So I like to leave anything that's destroying this blueprint, removing from the world, to the very end of the code. So that's why I'm using this sequence. This actually executes things in order from top to bottom. All right. No freaking idea if this is going to work. I literally just coded all this with no testing. Let's hit play and see. And if not, we'll just do some tweaks. It's a pretty big sphere. It might delete all of them, to be honest. Component in this code that we didn't implement is this idea of like, okay, the farther out something is, the less damage it needs to be. Now, we can do that, probably not right now with the time we have, but that wouldn't be too difficult. You could always do this node called getDistance2, and then you could ask, okay, what's the distance from me to the other block? Is it, map it to a range and then spit out some number that's like the equivalent of the damage I should give it? You could absolutely do that. But for now, let's hit play. Let's go over. All right, I'm going to explode. 3, 2, 1. Hey! Oh my gosh! Whoa! Really freaking cool. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow. Now I promise you guys I've done Minecraft tutorials before. I have never done done creepers blowing up before. So that was all new for me. But, man, this was fun about game development. You don't know how to do something. You just accumulate little tools along the way about how you maybe could get that thing, and when you get it to work, it's so satisfying. And you guys are all along with us for that journey, so appreciate it. The only thing that's not working is the guys aren't spinning. Remember I said that, okay, they fell, which is great, but those things aren't spinning like they're supposed to be, which is the only issue. But man, we really got it to work, which is really cool. I think I could probably get this to work. It has to do with the fact that because of the physics and stuff, it's on the ground, and therefore I think what would be the best way to make it so it can still spin. Rotating movement component while it's actually on the ground. Physics. Don't know, but let's watch the explosion happen. Let's watch everything go boom one more time. Just for fun. And maybe we'll figure out that part next time. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Bye-bye. And there we go. And that delay is also really satisfying too. Cool. All right. Well, I say we're well on our way.